The biggest shoe to drop this offseason for the Minnesota Fighting Vikings is what's going to happen with Kirk Jerome, Ezekiel Cousins. It's not going to be status quo. Like, he's not going to play this season with a $45 million cap hit. So either they'll redo his contract, they'll extend him, they will trade him. That's really the possibilities. Pay cut, probably not. But Kevin O'Connell, who worked with Kirk Cousins back in Washington, of course, had some high praise. He's got to praise you like he should. Talk about Kirk Cousins with Albert Breer, Birdie of Sports Illustrated's Monday Morning Quarterback. Again, it's still weird that Peter King was a Monday Morning Quarterback guy, but apparently he was a Sports Illustrated property. So what can you do? But also, we said that with Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell, it's a bit of a prisoner's dilemma with Kirk Cousins, where you can't really tip your hand with everything pending this offseason, because praising Kirk is the right way to go. Even if they honestly believe everything that they're saying about Kirk Cousins, that he could be that guy, he could be yada yada yada, because if you're like, no, Kirk Cousins is garbage, he's hot garbage, and we're gonna trade him, what that does to his trade value, like the ruble. So I understand what they're doing. It's a little bit of gamesmanship, as well as, hey, if things work out with Kirk Cousins, if they don't get the trade offer that they want, and Kirk is still the quarterback of the Vikings, they're like, hey, we said all along, we loved him, baby. Yeah, that's right. So it's going to work out. So this is what what Burt Beer wrote up in the Monday Morning Quarterback. As for the players themselves, the question everyone wants to ask O'Connell is where he stands with Kirk Cousins, his quarterback in Washington in 2017, who's entering. By the way, Kevin O'Connell, Washington quarterback coach, got Kirk Cousins paid in free agency. So, great. Thanks. Who was entering a contract year and his fifth season as the Viking starter. Quote, I have a lot of respect for him and the level to which he's played the position at for a long time now. The consistency, the durability. There's a lot to like about where he's at in his career and the experiences that he's had and continued to grow. That's the important thing, is that he continues to chase the growth and try to chase that excellence he's hunting as a quarterback and as a leader. But he's done a lot of good things. You watch the tape, go back and take a look at the tape. You just purely turn on the tape and you see a guy playing the position at a really high level, in complete control of his game, leading the unit. So I'm excited about getting him going and how we're going to build it. So obviously that's high praise for Kirk Cousins. That's backing his guy. And I actually do think that Kevin O'Connell, who saw what happened with Matthew Stafford, again, Stafford and Cousins before last year were like this on their careers. Big stats. Could they necessarily win the big games? Matthew Stafford had won 0 goose egg D'Angelo Russell playoff games before last season, and then, he won Super Bowl. Cool. But I think that Kevin O'Connell saw what the Rams did with McVay and his offense, and I think that he thinks that he could do the same with Kirk Cousins and the Vikings offense. And he's right. Like, since the bye in 2021, Kirk Cousins has played, the bye in 2020, he has played some of the best football of his career. But ironically, before the bye in 2020, he played some of the worst football ever that I have ever seen. It's insane, man. But Kirk, again, for the umpteenth time, Kirk was not the problem last year. And you still see a lot of Vikings fans ripping on Kirk Cousins, and it's his contract. Again, if Kirk was making $20 million a year, this wouldn't even be a debate. Also, I think it is a little bit of inertia where we got so used to ripping on Kirk Cousins 2017, 2018, 2019, when he was part of the problem with his contract as well as the caliber of his play, and also the beginning of 2020, that it's hard to break away. It's like, things change when new input comes in. Changing your mind and opinion when there's new variables put into the equation, that's important. It is. And I think that if Kirk can just get past that mental block of always checking it down, and we always put that on him as fans, like, Kirk is checking it down, throwing it short of the sticks again on 3rd and 9. He's throwing it to C.J. Ham out of the backfield. What about play design? What about offensive play design, getting your reads open in a logical progression, and also the receivers getting open as well as the offensive line giving protection? I mean, it's all part and parcel, man. So I think that Kevin O'Connell, the new coaching staff, new offensive line, or at least souped up offensive line, and then Kirk Cousins, like, everything can come together in a beautiful cacophony, tater tot hot dish of just deliciousness. I love it, man. Finishing this up, the good news, of course, is O'Connell has experience of building an offense and knows exactly what he's getting in Cousins. O'Connell says he loves the detail and the structure at which he goes about preparing for an OTA, for a training camp practice, for a preseason game, and into the regular season. I mean, he's consistently going to be who he is. And that's exactly what Kirk is. Like, can Kirk still grow as a quarterback? Yeah, I think he could. Could he become a guy who could elevate the play of others, much to the chagrin of Mike Zimmer to his coaching staff at the end of last season? It's possible, right? But again, we've always said that Kirk Cousins, you can win a Super Bowl with Kirk Cousins. He just has to be near perfect around him. For the 17th time, that's not a negative. You can't say that about every single quarterback in the league. Like, if everything was perfect around Mitchell Trubisky Ponder, he could not win a Super Bowl. So there you go. But I have hopes because I think that it's probably an 85%, probably more than that. I would say it's a 95% chance that Kirk Cousins stays put and is the quarterback of the Vikings at least this season. And if he's back on a restructure with void years added to mitigate that cap hit, or if he's on an extension, either way, I think that he will be the Vikings quarterback this season. And then TBD, what happens in the future? Is Kirk Cousins extended? Is Kellen Mond or rookie TBD given the reins? I don't know. But I'm confident that this marriage between Kevin O'Connell and Kirk Cousins will be a lot more fortuitous than the one between Zimmer and Cousins. Like, they're watching film now. It only took 4 years. You guys were together for 2 presidents, and you're finally watching film. It's just insane. Just, what you want, a cookie? Get out of here. Get out of here, man. But your thoughts on our thoughts. Kevin O'Connell had some high praise for Kirk Cousins. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But until next time, Skull Production Value.